Member for Narungga. I'll come back to the member for West Torrens. Thank you,
Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Education. The Minister update the House on preparations for the transition to NAPLAN online.
Minister.
Yes, sir. I'm very pleased to be able to do so, and I know that NAPLAN Online is a very important progress for our education system and indeed for jurisdictions across the country. It is an improvement to the system that last year saw 141 schools that undertook NAPLAN Online testing, 100 government schools and 41 non-government schools, report feedback suggesting that students found the online assessment engaging, that the platform worked well for that number of schools, and indeed ACARA has advised, with their series of expert reviews, including one commissioned by Education Council that was independent of ACARA, that both the online and the paper tests results were comparable, and so the results have been presented on the same scale. I can also confirm, of course, that we are looking to substantially increase, both in South Australia and across the country, the number of schools that are proposed to be moving to NAPLAN Online. Now, when the Shadow Minister was the Minister, the original start date for all schools was to be 2019. That was shifted back in 2017, and I believe that we're now looking at a 2021 for all schools across the country, all being well. Now, in South Australia, we're in a position where we're able to significantly increase the number of schools doing NAPLAN Online this year. One of the things we have to do is, of course, ensure that the platform is capable of delivering for all states and all jurisdictions on the load. Now, obviously, this is why we have tests and technical tests, and last week there was one such test that I think it's useful to give some clarity about what happened, because I think some people have been suggesting that the situation is much more difficult than indeed is the case. So I'll just go through this in a very straightforward fashion. A platform readiness test was conducted first on the 22nd of October and the 2nd of November last year to validate the 2019 NAPLAN Online version as fit for purpose and ready for this year. A further platform readiness test was undertaken between the 4th and 15th of February 2019. The purpose of that test was to test changes or enhancements to the platform that were made as a result of issues with the lockdown browser that were identified in the first test in 2018. Nationally, the February 2019 testing was positive, with the online platform being locked down on the 25th of February 2019. The schools practice test window, which is the critical thing that we're doing at the moment to ensure that issues when the schools log in are picked up, that's scheduled for between the 25th of March and the 26th of April, with the nationally coordinated practice test scheduled for last Thursday on the 28th of March. The nationally coordinated practice test is to simulate how the platform will perform under live load conditions. South Australia and Victoria participated on the 28th of March, with South Australia coordinating the majority of our proposed 2019 schools to commence testing at 10 a.m. last Thursday. On the morning of the practice test, a number of schools across multiple jurisdictions, mainly Victoria and South Australia, progressively reported connectivity issues with the national platform. For South Australia, the department commenced receiving calls from schools prior to 8:30. These schools were attempting to connect to the national online platform in readiness for the 10 a.m. start, but were unable to do so. These issues were reported and logged to Education Services Australia through the agreed process. By 9 a.m, the National Program Management Officers advised this was a critical national issue as it was experienced by more than one jurisdiction, and non-government sector representatives were advised as well. In accordance with the protocols, all schools were advised at 9:54 a.m. that the department was aware of an issue and that they would be doing their tests another time. At approximately 10 a.m, 6 minutes later, the department was advised by the National PMO that the issue had been resolved. Schools were now able to recommence their schedule of testing, which they'll do over the next couple of weeks. This is an important reason why we have these checks in the first place, so that we can iron out these technical problems and get the process right for all of our schools right across the country.